So the vote was tied. I guess I'll flip a coin. Heads, we do the top 10 good guide leaders. Tails, we do the top 10 cassette bots. Cassettes it is. And there's no way to prove I didn't rig that. So let's lay a few ground rules. I'm not going to include third-party cassettes in this list, even though there are quite a few really good ones over the years. I will keep this to official product, and even though they're discs, I'll include the Fall of Cybertron game figures in my consideration, if anything because I wouldn't know where else to put them. So, let's get to it. Speaking of the data discs, Ratbat is probably my favorite representation of these gimmicky guys. Despite being a remold of the Condors, I actually really like Ratbat in this form. The head sculpt is great, and colors are awesome. This and the other data discs come from a time when Hasbro really didn't know what to do with the cassette characters, seemingly always trying to update the gimmick even though it really doesn't need to. They still deploy from Soundwave and Blaster. They're fun little accessories. That's really all they need to be. Though I'll admit, the Fall of Cybertron data discs, like Ratbat, are one of the more fun attempts to update the cassettes. One of the earliest cassettes in my collection, Ramhorn, is a wonderful little rhino. Though, like a lot of the animal-based cassettes, he has an extremely thin profile. I always found him to be one of the more lethal-looking cassettes, with that massive horn on the front. It was always a joy to transform this guy and seeing the head reveal, cause you just know he's going to gore his enemies with it. Of the 4 Japanese Dino cassettes, I honestly feel Dairu, or Dial, is the most successful. His cassette mode is mostly the right shape. His colors are bright and fun. He's got the coolest weapons, and his transformation to Dino mode results in a surprisingly well-articulated B-spot. A lot of times when a figure is part of a combiner, the individual will suffer for the sake of the whole, but I feel Dairu has actually fared pretty well, and is just a great figure to mess around with, and have on your shelf. You know, if you can find one. Frenzy is red, Rumble is blue, and if you don't agree, then you can go enjoy your cassettes the way you want to. I like Studio Series Frenzy. It's not a perfect rendition of the figure, but as a mainline release, I think it's pretty good. His only flaw, really, is the lack of elbows. But the colors are awesome, and he's pretty fun to transform back and forth. Just a great addition to any cassette collection. So, this is actually not an original Grand Slam. It's a knockoff. Somehow, in one of my moves over the years, I lost Grand Slam, along with Rain Dance, Squawk Dock, and Beastbox. I don't know what happened, but I have always really liked this guy. I like the character, I like the colors, and I love the adorable little tank mode he turns into. This knockoff is not the best quality, so I'm not going to mess with it too much. But if you have an original Grand Slam and Rain Dance, you know that these 2 cassettes combined are pretty awesome. One day, I'll get replacements of these guys. But for now, this will have to do.
Why am I here again?
To tell the viewers about channel memberships.
What about them?
It's as little as $1 a month to support the channel.
Oh, yeah, sounds great.
So, can you tell them that, please?
No.
Why not?
Because you just did.
Slugfest is one of the first cassettes I ever owned, and I really wish Hasbro would give us a new one. He's just such a cool design. I love his colors with the lime green and hot pink. The way he transforms and the armored plates pop out of his body is just so cool in my opinion. Yeah, he doesn't do much, but he does nothing so adorably that I can't help but love the little idiot. I even got a cool plushie of him on Etsy, made by MythFit Creations. Of all the War for Cybertron size cassettes, Eject is easily my favorite. The Studio Series 86 version is arguably what we should have gotten the first time, but it's nice that Hasbro got there in the end. The original Eject is one of my earliest cassettes I owned, so I'm always happy to see the character come back. And this version, despite its simplicity, is pretty darn cool. The colors are fantastic, and he looks awesome deploying from blaster. Just a fun little toy, and a great example of how the cassette gimmick lives on. Screw Laserbeak. Buzzsaw is the better bird. The Masterpiece cassettes are all great, and if I was doing a list based on impressive engineering, well, they'd basically all take the top spots. But Buzzsaw, in particular, stands out to me. I mean, this guy took out Omega Supreme in the comics. Why in the hell is Laserbeak always the one who gets the spotlight? This mold is fantastic no matter which color scheme you have, though. Just an amazing piece of engineering. I love how the weapons are integrated into the design. It's buttery smooth to transform, and looks amazing. Especially as Buzzsaw. Okay, fine. I'll put a Ravage on this list. Ravage is very cool, and the Masterpiece version is undeniably impressive. It is very likely the most accurate version of the character we will ever see. I really like the transformation, and how cool are these integrated weapons? Honestly, this figure kind of ruins all other Ravages for me, though. I think if I didn't put Steeljaw as number 1, I'd have to give up collecting or something. No, he's not the most impressive design. He's actually pretty simple. But he is my favorite cassette. I couldn't give you an exact reason why. I just like him. I love his colors with the yellow body and the silver legs, the little touches of gold on the eyes. It all works really well to make a figure that has stuck with me for years. He also teamed up with Ramhorn and took out Galvatron once, so yeah, he's awesome. And that's the list. Top 10 cassettes. Honestly, I love all the cassettes, and cassette-adjacent figures. They're just fun little toys and great characters. Thank you to everyone who participated in the polls for Viewer's Choice Month. It's been a blast making these videos for your enjoyment. And thank you for helping the channel grow. We've passed 2,000 subscribers and continue to climb. On to 3,000. As always, thanks for watching, thanks for liking, and above all else, try to stay happy.